Folks presents to you Honest Talk.
Hi folks, today we are back with one more great and leading personality, Mr. Karunesh Prasad. Karunesh is a change management professional and founder of Change et al. His company specializes in change management using power of people, process and culture for change. Change et al. Has a team consisting of HR, Lean Six Sigma, M&A, technology, communication and training professionals. At Change et al., Karunesh created a new framework on change management combining people, process and culture known as 4A model of change. Many large companies have adapted this model as their official change framework and using it since then. Change et al. And team have since deployed this framework in process transformation, outsourcing, organization restructuring and design, post-merger integration, technology implementation and many similar change initiatives. Prior to this, Karunesh spent 15 years with GE working in India, Belgium, Singapore and Houston with last role as head of culture integration for GE Energy and GE Oil and Gas based in Houston. So, let's begin our talk with our today's guest, Mr. Karunesh Prasad.
Sir, first of all, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you for today's talk.
Same here. Thank you very much for inviting me to this call. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure to have you. So, sir, moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is the future of work, rise of gig economy. I think you are the best person to cover this topic. So, sir, my first question to you, or it's rather a kind of request to you, sir, kindly explain our viewers how this COVID-19 pandemic is changing or changed the way we work.
So, a lot of changes, Harsh. A lot of changes happening around the world in the way people are working today. And the biggest change, of course, we all know is that people have started to work from home, which was not an acceptable norm before, but it has now become a norm where people have accepted the fact that people can and will be able to work from home. So that's the biggest change. But along with that, a huge change is coming in terms of how the organizations are trying to equip themselves for upcoming change in the way people work. So it's about the infrastructure, it's about the policies, it's about the way talent is managed in the organization. All those topics are also changing.
All right, sir. I think it's really a very quite insightful answer from you, sir. Sir, my next question to you, which is of course our topic. So the question is, sir, I want to know your opinion, your thoughts. How do you look? How do you see the rise of gig economy?
Yes. So from my point of view, Harsh, gig economy is the future of talent management. People who are not adapting, or particularly I would say HR professionals and talent management professionals or organizations which are not adapting to gig economy are almost equivalent of saying people who didn't say that in the 90s or earlier part of the century that we can do without the computer. So it's almost that situation. If people think that they can manage and continue to manage their talent without working on gig economy, they will be left behind. So I think that's the biggest change that is happening. I call it, my famous tagline is that gig economy is the tsunami which is coming in the area of talent management. We need to be prepared for that, because if we are not equipped to handle talent in the form of gig economy, and they are not creating the infrastructure policies accordingly, those organizations will be left behind big time. So that's one change. The other thing which is happening is that a lot of professionals who are very good in their work, they're experts in their respective area, they don't necessarily want to continue to work and be at the same organization. They are experts of their own field. They are not attaching their career to an organization. Their career is about what they do. So when people are looking, so for example, if I'm an HR person or a change management person, or if I'm a technology expert, I'm building my capability in that area. I'm not dependent on the organization. So people are making their own career path. And when they make their own career path, they are not looking at one organization as the line of their career path. They are looking at their profession as the career path. And gig economy is actually helping them to be able to continue working in the area of their expertise and grow in that area. So you will find that there are more experts, there are more influencers, there are more thought leaders who are emerging because they're investing in themselves to become the experts in their respective topic. So I would say this is my point of view of how things are changing. Apart from this, if you look around the world, so for example, Dubai last week announced that they will allow people to come and live in Dubai. If you are a freelancer or if you're working from home, you can actually live in Dubai, and the entry barrier has been lowered significantly. So what they're trying to do, think about it, it's not only people, but even countries are depending on gig economy to be able to further their economy. If you look at US, there's a very large number of people who are already freelancers today. And those freelancers number is going to continuously increase. People are estimating that by 2025, almost 50% of the US workforce will be working like freelancers. That's a huge number. And we're talking about a huge economy change, the way people work, the way people operate, and where they operate from. All those things are changing, and that's changing the organization's talent roadmap. It's changing the country's economy. It's changing the talent itself. So a lot of things are changing simultaneously, in other words.
All right, sir. Again, it was really a very wonderful answer from your side, and you have very beautifully explained the future possibilities because of gig economy. I think the viewers, those who are watching this session, of course, they are going to learn from it. Sir, my next question to you, if we talk about how the gig economy is changing the workforce.
So the workforce, Harsh, what was happening earlier, we had, a lot of bands in the organization. There was organization design, hierarchy. People were looking for designation. People were looking for salary to increase every year by a certain percentage. All those myths are busted. So for example, I was working with a very senior colleague who was, trying to take up a new assignment. And he just said that I want to work for 6-8 months on an assignment for some time, and after that I'm taking a vacation, I'm going around the world traveling. Okay, now this is the type of plans people have. So when you think about the way organizations manage it, the structure was all about how you grow people within the company. Now people are working on their own career. They want to work part-time. So the organization structure, salary levels, designations, who reports to whom, all that is changing. That's number one. Number two is that the gig economy is helping organizations to look at a very different org design, where in the same team, you may have some people who are permanent workers, some people who have been borrowed from another team to work on that project for some time. There are people who are coming from consulting companies and working on the same project. And there are freelancers who are coming and working on the same project. So the way teams are formed in the organization to work on something, the entire equation and chemistry of how people come together to work on a particular assignment has changed. So imagine that the company is implementing an ERP system. They have a team of 25 people working on that. Only 5 of them may be permanent employees. Another 5 or 10 may be coming from another place. Another 4 or 5 may be freelancers. Some of them may be co-opted from another function of the same company. So the structure of the workforce within the organization is completely different. That's one. Secondly, the leadership has also changed, because you are not necessarily working with people who report to you. You're working with people who have been temporarily assigned to your team, and they are not worried about a boss, a leader whom they need to please. They are experts in their own field. They are there to contribute. Once they finish their assignment, they're gone. So the entire equation of how the organization functions has also changed as a result of that. And that's the emerging trend. That's how it is going to be in future also.
All right, sir. Sir, we have covered all the advantages related to gig economy. While I was collecting the questions for this session, sir, I have seen some random questions that people are thinking about, or the question I have found that what will be there will be a privacy issue or data security. So, sir, my question to you, if we see what are the disadvantages and challenges of gig economy?
So, see, first challenge, if you think about it, Harsh, is that the traditional way of looking at information and data has already changed. It's not changing because of gig economy, right? So, for example, you and I are totally searchable on Google. People can find almost all the information they need about us on social media platforms. Okay, so the privacy that we are talking about is already almost gone. Okay, now comes the real data, which is private data, and how you need to save that. And that's why GDPR and many other privacy laws are being formed, because people are worried about that. But having said that, I think the future is more of transparency. There is much more transparency which will be there on social media, in the organizations, among the people. You will be able to search everything, you'll be able to find all the information about each other. And that's the way things are emerging. And I think it's a very difficult thing to curtail anything around that in the short term, at least. That's number one. Number two is, when we think about gig economy, it is not disturbing the GDPR and other things, except that some of the economies or countries do not have the confidence of letting the data go to a country or a geography where they feel that the data privacy will be lost. So, for example, if you're working sitting in India or China and working for companies of Europe and US, they are worried that the freelancers sitting in India may not be able to handle my data properly, and therefore I should not outsource to a company in India. But think about it. The entire shared service of the world is residing in India, Philippines, China, and some of these countries. So those inhibitions are, I think, unfounded. There may be some reality in that inhibition, because the data is being misused. Sometimes you see some of the scams happening. Sometimes that data is being sold, and those laws are being made because of that. But I don't think it's because of the gig economy. It's because people, when they get the data, when they get their hands on data, if it lands up in the wrong hands, that risk resides, even if it is in a different country altogether.
All right, sir. So we can conclude that the gig economy will drive the future of employment.
Absolutely. That's why I said in the beginning also that this is the tsunami of talent management and HR. Future of work is totally dependent on gig economy. And if the companies are not adapting to that, they will be losing a lot of opportunities.
Sir, one question which comes here is how gig economy is impacting the corporate workplace.
Yeah, I think corporate workplace is going to change, right? Earlier, when we were talking about the way organizations work. So, for example, if you look at the laws in India, the Contract Labor Act was very rigid. You know, the whole ruling around that was that if the person is continuing to work and is not on your permanent payroll, then you are not following the legal norms. That myth has been changed. The myth has changed because there are more and more people, including educated workforce, which is working like a freelancer. Now, even then, I would say that there are companies, there are organizations who try to squeeze on the freelancers. So, for example, they will, try to not give you all the benefits. They'll try not to give you all the, there's no pension, there's no provident fund, there's no other benefits. But that's why even India came up with the law, and they are presenting the bill about how do we actually make sure that people are supported, even if they are freelance workers. So the countries are actually changing their norms, their rules around this. So corporate workplace is certainly going to change. They will have to change the technology. They'll have to change the organization design. They'll have to change the policies that govern the employment laws. So all those things are changing. It's a work in progress, I would say. Some have adapted, some are still adapting, but it's continuously happening.
All right, sir. It was again a very quite insightful answer from your side. Sir, I want to know your thoughts. Being an HR, being a change management professional, sir, what do you believe? Working from home actually improves the productivity of an individual?
So it's a mixed bag, Harsh. So there are two different thoughts people have. If you think about the simple thing of the time available in hand for people, it's certainly increased. In big cities like Mumbai, Delhi, and some of the other big cities where the travel time was very high, I think that is a huge saving that people have in hand. At the same time, I think the organizations need to also mature to understand that if 9 to 5 is the working time, allow people to use their work from home in a balanced manner so that they're not working from 8 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. in the night, right? That's one change that is required. The other thing that's happening is that when you are working from home, you are not able to switch off your work life, right? When you can't switch off, there's a time you need with your children, there's a time you need with your parents, there's a time you need to do some leisure activities, which was very clearly demarcated in the earlier days. When you come back from office, you want to spend time with your family. That's kind of vanishing. And that's why you will see that there's a lot of focus companies have put on wellness. How do we support people through wellness? How do we support people through giving them gym membership, yoga, many other things, so that people are able to remain healthy and are able to focus. So that's one part. The other part is that as an individual, as a person working from home, you'll find that our ability to, connect and network with other employees and co-workers has reduced a lot. So you are not able to have that, lunchtime chat with your friends or colleagues. You're not able to have a tea with them and be able to have a, conversation around that. So the informal discussion part is slowly going away. And that's a huge concern for the organization, because ultimately organizations work on collaboration. And if the collaboration opportunities are going away, you need to get very, very creative about how you will provide opportunities for people to collaborate. So I'll give you an example. We in Change It All, in our own company, we have provided, or created a mechanism that every day, morning 11:30 till 12:30, we log into Zoom. Everybody logs into Zoom, and that time is informal time for us. So sometime if someone is busy, they'll not join. Others who are busy may not join, but those who are free will join in. That's also a place where we interact informally and resolve some of the conversations that we would normally not have. Otherwise, you are constantly, putting a meeting request on the calendar. If the person is available, they accept, then only you are able to talk. Otherwise, you're not able to talk. And also that those conversations are one-on-one. But when you provide a forum like this where everybody comes together and informal chat is happening, a lot of those networking things are sorted there. So I would say that organizations need to think about providing those informal channels for people to collaborate, network, and talk about those little things which they will normally not talk when they are on a one-on-one meeting, a formally set up meeting. And that's a huge change that's also happening. So I think there are a lot of things happening in the workplace which are looking very different as we go forward in the future of work.
Indeed, sir. I think it's a kind of privilege that we are listening all these things from you. Sir, I don't want to take you much time. So moving to my last question of this session. So the question is, what will be the type of jobs in demand in next 10 years?
That's a very interesting question, Harsh. A lot of things are changing. I would say that first big change that has happened is that people are moving away from what I call a generalist role to a specialist role. And it is not about the gig economy. It's not about the future of work. It's about the way organizations work. A lot of new roles are coming up which were not existing before. So, for example, data analytics, data scientist is a very high in demand role because a lot of people are looking for data analysis. Similarly, diversity and inclusion, it was already there, but it was more like a side function. It's coming in the forefront. Similarly, if you think about technology, engineering, earlier we used to have one IT department. Now you have separate IT infrastructure, separate digitization. All those things are further specialized because that's how the organizations are looking at roles. So I would simply say that the type of jobs which were there before and how it is emerging now is changing a lot. There are a lot of specialists who are being sought after. And I think that will continue to remain like that for quite some time because new roles are emerging, new roles are being created. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, these roles we did not even hear about 5 years back, but they are very high in demand roles now. So I think these things are continuously changing and it will continue to remain like that.
All right, sir. Again, it was really a very wonderful answer from your side, and I think it was a wonderful as well as a quite healthy discussion with you on the topic. We look forward to conduct more session with you. Thank you so much for your time and joining us.
Thank you very much, Karunesh.
Thank you so much, sir.